Okay, here we go. Marty just ran out of the soda shop after socking Biff.
He had almost resigned himself to being caught when one of the youngsters on scooters turned off Hill Street in a path that paralleled his. Eureka! Marty shouted.
Yep, there's Eureka. Again, which is now showing up more often than Doc is. So yeah, wow, am I glad that Eureka running joke wasn't in the movie because I'm wincing every time. Marty is a big jerk to the little scooter guy,
literally yanking it out from under the kid.
He breaks it apart so it's now a skateboard. Marty
gave himself a kick just as hostile hands reached for his neck and missed.
That, my friends, is writing. The kid whose
scooter had been appropriated and instantly transformed into a lighter, faster vehicle yells.
Wow, look at him go!
So I guess he's into it after all. Biff and his friends
hot-footed over to Biff's convertible
and chase after Marty, but as they catch up, Marty does a U-turn in front of them and gets away. Marty grabs onto a passing car. Finally. And the car drives by the soda shop and the kids cheer, but the driver doesn't notice Marty and thinks he just won a race because of all the cheering, tee-hee. Then a few seconds later Biff's car goes by and the crowd boos and hisses, but does Biff care? And can you answer the question with another reference to lips?
The four tight-lipped villains stared ahead with deadly intent.
Nice. The chase continues for most of a page and is unremarkable except for a reference to Biff's car
nearly touching Marty's buttocks.
So let us leave it there. Pages 179 to 180. Marty finds himself holding onto the front bumper of Biff's car. This is a dangerous position to be in. We know this because Biff explains it for us.
Now we got the son of a bitch, Biff shouted. If he holds on, he's dead, and if he lets go, he's dead.
Biff decides to drive Marty through the glass window of Hal's bike shop, and decides that if worse comes to worst, he can tell the judge that his brakes failed, which isn't the greatest plan in the world but does suggest that Biff is seriously contemplating murdering Marty here, which is a thing.
Looking back through the windshield at the malevolent Biff, Marty could only gulp.
Yep, Marty's trapped. He looks for cops to help him, but there are none. Then he has a vision of his own tombstone for some future laughs and some old man-itis.
A quick vision of his tombstone flashed before his eyes as Biff drove him inexorably backward. It read, Martin McFly, born 1968, died 1955. Now, as they were about to pass a large manure truck in the same traffic lane, new devilment was added. Match had picked up a beer bottle and was about to throw it at Marty's head. Got to get out of here, he cried.
And remember how in the movie Marty was a cool-headed dude who improvised an awesome escape? This is how he gets replaced by Book Marty, who cries out loud to himself. Both Martys, do the send the board under the car, run up on the hood, over the seats, and jump down onto the skateboard as it passes out from underneath the car move and then Biff hits the manure truck. Cue tons of applause for Marty. Not just from the kids at the soda shop but also from the customers at Gainer's Hideaway, a bar. And it's like, do these adults also know Biff or are they just big into watching accidents happen? And there's so much shouting and hand clapping. Haha, yes, why say just clapping when you could needlessly specify that hands are involved? George is watching too, but with mixed emotions, because he'd trade 10 years of his life to have pulled that trick off. Marty gives back the scooter, the kid is happy, the kid's friend breaks his scooter so it's the same way, and we are done with chapter 10. In the movie, Lorraine shows up at Doc's place and Doc surmised that she tracked Marty down. But haven't you always wondered how she tracked him down?
Yeah, where does he live?
Didn't that bother you that you didn't know? Well, good news, freaky obsessive person, this book supplies the answer. Lorraine followed Marty in a car. Oh, but that's only one line. I'm sure we can space it out some.
If he won't ask me, Lorraine thought, then I'll just have to ask him. Turning to Babs, she said, can I borrow your car? Babs hesitated. "You know it's not mine," she replied. "It belongs to my sister." "Well, it doesn't matter. I'll be careful. What do you want it for? Promise not to tell?" Babs nodded. "I want to trail Marty and see where he lives. He's so secretive about himself." Babs giggled. Here was a mission she could understand. "I'll drive you," she said. "All right. Let's go before he gets out of sight."
If you are ever writing a book, and you are tempted to fill up most of a page with irrelevant information not about a main character's car ownership situation, nor about a main character's friend's car ownership situation, but a main character's friend's sister's car ownership, just rest easy knowing it's been done before and write something else, okay? On their way to the car they run into George, who tries to ask Lorraine out, and yay to George for showing some initiative. Lorraine says no politely and suggests maybe he wants to take someone else instead, and George is kinda adorable and pathetic when says,
"But you're the only girl I want to take."
Lorraine hops into Babs' car and says I'll see you later and tells him to wipe the chocolate milk off his face and scene. He had chocolate milk on his face this whole time. Whoa,